as a tax-paying citizen of the city of South Fulton, or any tax-paying citizen, you have the right to engage professionally and respectfully an officer, especially inquiring about public safety concerns. Let me make sure I'm clear again. Respectfully engaging an officer and not obstructing them from doing any of their duties. That's exactly what I did. Couple of points I want to make sure we're clear here. Here in Atlanta and all across the nation, that there were a plethora of gatherings, a plethora of protests, peaceful protests, that have led to police reform, that have led to legislation under the umbrella of police reform. Well, what happened to me in my own city is a prime example of the need for that type of reform. We know that several times, as it relates to police officers, and these deadly encounters are the maiming of citizens, a lot of times it has a racial component. Well, this particular time it did not. Corporal Solomon Muhammad looks like me. He looks like J. Edward Shipp, Esquire. The problem is that there is a police culture that says that you can abuse people. There's a police culture that says you have the right to be the judge, jury, and executioner on the side of the road. Make no mistake about it.
It's happening every day.
I was put in a light
every day, and they hurt people for no reason at all, messing with people like they just step in. I know they do it every day. I see it every day. They fuck with them, and it's no reason at all. They do it every fucking day.
Listen, that's just an unfortunate ripple effect of what people see on a daily basis. People are fed up with the abuse that is placed on Asiatic, African, melanated people, and also low-income people. I want to make sure I'm clear here. The city of South Fulton is a 4-year new city. Myself and a plethora of others helped to get this new city into existence. But the irony of this is about 6 or 7 months ago, I stood with the chief of the city of South Fulton. I stood with the city council representative of South Fulton, and I helped to champion new legislation as it relates to our city, but specifically as it relates to the South Fulton Police Department. The city of South Fulton has adopted the 21st century policing method as a policy, as a law in the city of South Fulton. But a twist that I brought to it is we became the first city that if an officer maims or kills an individual, right or wrong, guilt or innocence is not what we're talking about here, that officer or officers is immediately subjected to an alcohol and drug test. Why is that important? My connection to this city is strong. My love for this new city is strong. You know, adopting the 21st century policing as a policy here, that means that we do not approve of any kind of methods that go against that policy. I think it goes without saying by the tape. I think it goes without the tape that I recorded. I think it goes without saying by the officer's body cam, who I might add was the body cam which was partially obstructed due to the reflective traffic vests that were purchased by the city of South Fulton. Once you put on that vest, it partially obstructs the body cam. I'm thankful again for me having the wherewithal to do a recording on my own. Last point I'll make. Counter to what I recorded, but more importantly, counter to the partially obstructed body cam and the audio of Corporal Solomon Muhammad, his statement on the events that took place that day are totally false. I'm painted as such an aggressive agitator, a person that's obstructing the scene, when again, my video on top of his body cam totally contradict that. That's important because that speaks to the police culture. I am blessed in the sense to have a certain type of platform to be able to speak out, but it makes you wonder about the number of people that don't have this platform that encountered Corporal Solomon Muhammad, and we like to call it, there's a term, pencil whipping. In his statement, I am totally pencil whipped up and down, so it justifies his actions. In closing, Corporal Solomon Muhammad needs to be fired. I did not stand with the chief of police and members of council to adopt the 21st century policing as law in our new city. I did not stand with them for this type of policing in our city. He needs to be fired. His post-certification needs to be snatched, revoked. He needs to be charged. He needs to be convicted and sentenced properly. And this needs to be made an example for the citizens of South Fulton in our new city, what we will not tolerate. And it also needs to be tied into the national narrative of the police culture, the code blue line of silence, which has many of layers, one of them being the falsification of documents. This is an opportunity for the district attorney, Fonnie Willis. This is an opportunity for her to instill or reinstill, continue to reinstill some much needed faith in the black, brown, and low-income communities when it comes to policing. And this is also a teachable moment for the city of South Fulton and our police department to set an example what we will not tolerate. I will come back up if there are any questions, but for now, I would like for you to hear from my attorney, J. Edward Shipp. Brother Coleman is here with us today only by grace. Only by grace. Corporal Solomon Mahoney put a taser to this brother's chest in complete violation of the operating procedures of operating a taser. Placed it above his heart just for asking a question, just for making a statement that he would speak to a superior officer. Well, look, they made no mistake about it, because I wouldn't be me if I don't talk about the families that I've been honored to represent, the families that I've been honored to at least come in contact with. Families such as Kendrick Johnson family down in Valdosta, Georgia. A case that is riddled with corruption in law enforcement. But more importantly, let's bring it right here at the doorstep of District Attorney Fonnie Willis. Jimmy Atkins, Oscar Kane, Jamarian Robbins. If I continue to name names, we would literally be here for over an hour. These are families that I come in contact with, and those last three families, it's my understanding that their case sits on the new district attorney's desk of Fonnie Willis. Why is that important? I'm here to speak for Jimmy Atchison. I'm here to speak for Oscar Kane. I'm here to speak for Jamarian Robinson. Thank you, Attorney Shipp, for bringing up the taser incident, because it's my understanding if an officer is to place a taser directly, first of all, they're not supposed to place it in certain areas, groin, neck, heart, but it's also my understanding that if they do come in contact with the clothing or a person, I should say, that they are to remove the top cartridge, which is called a dry stun. That top cartridge has an exploding type of mechanism in it which allows it to shoot the prongs. No, he did not tase me, but it is my understanding if he would have pulled that trigger, not only would I have received a direct jolt to the heart, I also would have received some damage from the explosive cartridge.